for fuck's sake.
Marvel Knights, the comic imprint turned cinematic experiment launched by the very first and forgotten Marvel Studios film, Punisher Warzone, one which eschewed spandex soap operas for gritty urban realism. And what could be a more relatable, realistic opening to a grounded urban crime caper than Frank Castle suspended by his shins from a chandelier, spinning harder than a CNN newsroom as he gives an entire room of meatball chomping mafiosos a 9mm motherfucking with dueling MP5 fucking Ks.
Hey, keep goes up fire.
Punisher goes off like Randy Johnson in an aviary, snapping slag necks, stabbing skulls. Oh, did I mention he knife punches a prick's head off? Because, yeah, he sure yukins that shit right off his shoulders.
Hey there, this is good old JR Jim Ross bringing you the Bud Light Instant Replay. Oh boy, that's gotta hurt!
If you, as a red-blooded American male, fail to reach full fucking mast after this 5-alarm Wapacost, give my best to your boyfriend. For the first and final time in this film franchise, we actually open on the Punisher punishing! No overwrought origin story, no pensively pausing to navel gaze about the ethical necessity of vigilantism. A bloodbath from beginning to butt-fucking end. The most the mob can muster is a solitary shot into his bulletproof vest, which ends about as well as you'd expect. A limestone hat and a 6-foot fucking drop. By the time the goddamn gray matter settles, Castle walks away with a lightly soiled tack vest and a broken nose. Oh, I'm not pausing for dramatic effect. That's quite literally all the damage they do. Butterbean took more battle damage against Bart Gunn. That is, until he comes into contact with New York's fattest.
Police! Freeze!
Hands held above his brain box and effectively helpless, all seems well and truly lost. That is, until he remembers this is the same NYPD that allowed Antifa to seize City Hall for a month and fucking change.
Listen, Billy Rosati's getting away. Silver Rover. You might want to head down to the docks first. Oh! Shit, that hurts.
Helpful New York cops! Punisher Warzone, my personal favorite fantasy film. Yet as we all get dressed up and head on out to the mobster's ball, we learn that while we may have the one true Punisher on tap, someone sprang for the fake Garrett from Teef.
Hey, let's just all calm down here, okay?
It's not how much you steal. It's what you steal.
And how you steal it.
You know, it's just, take it easy in there, okay?
Nikki. Look what has happened. I don't get involved in politics.
In order to buy some botulism to sell to the religion of peace, Jimmy McNulty tries to make a withdrawal, but unfortunately for him, Faux Garrett happens to be a fucking Fed.
Pitsy, get me some money.
Running a little low, boss.
We just picked up $200K from a Luciano construction site.
I had it laundered through the Pussycat Lounge, like you told me, remember?
We'll bring it back.
If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Let's see, can't find your funds. Last you saw him was in the hands of a Fed. Fuck, have you checked the Ukraine? Which is apropos to what passes for a plot, as they're attempting to traffic said pinkopox particles to the filthy vodka-swilling Ruskies. Either way, I'm sure Garrett's got it all in hand. Between picking out life insurance policies and announcing his immortality, I'm certain FBI guy has a beautiful, bullet-free existence ahead of him.
That didn't quite go according to plan.
Fuck. The fuck was that?
Agent down. Repeat. Agent down. Fuck. I'll check it out.
The Paul Giamatti value model and the bassist from Flock of Seagulls go off in search of gunshot wounds, and sure as shit, they fucking find them. And hey, you know what comic films can never get anywhere near enough of? Open catwalks conveniently extending over an industrial death pit. Let's see, deposited in a bottle depository, subsumed by a jagged Razör murder machine, the Punisher looming above, an advantage with the controls, my friends. I guess you could say his ass is glass.
Oh, terrible.
Oh, hush up, Leo.
That woman would go on to be Speaker of the House, with twice as many open wine bottles. But when Flock of Seagulls at last opens fire with Frank's ammo reserves at post-pandemic levels, it's time for Frank to run. Run so far away, yay. But when he paws the fallen Fed for a firearm, like a suburban hipster pretending to understand the drug war, he finds only the wire. Oh no, I offed a member of a murderous, massively corrupt three-letter agency. Guess I'm only getting 8 hours sleep tonight. The glowies go in just in time to break out the gore mops and fish the frayed flesh ribbons that were once Jimmy McNulty out of the murder pit. Enter Agent Black Dude, our compulsory ration of institutional outrage in human fucking form. Kick it in the door of New York's flabbiest, he puts them all on notice.
We have a certain way of doing things around here, Special Agent Budiansky.
Like letting mass murderers run free?
Aw, if only Jigsaw choked out a psychopath on a subway, saving at least one life. Sorry, Black Dynamite. If you want to arrest a perp in New York, you'll have to plant a MAGA hat and a hood on him like anyone the fuck else. But to be fair, the cops are far too busy doing nothing about terrorism to notice.
Your buddies from the Bureau told me the city is under some kind of terror threat.
9.
New Yorkers are a bit sensitive about that, if you know what I mean.
11.
With all due respect, Captain, that is bullshit! What if it had been your man lying there, huh? In a pool of his own blood? You Krispy Kreme motherfuckers would be beating down every door in this city.
Easy there, Elmer Fed. Just pretend they were killed by a Clinton. The solution du jour is to banish our boy to the basement. Punisher Task Force?
Welcome to the Punisher Task Force. I'm Detective Martin Soap.
What the hell kind of name is Soap, eh?
Take a look at some of the case files. Get a lay of the land.
Which drawer?
What?
The alleged Punisher murders.
Which drawer? Oh, sweet summer child. Try which fucking building?
All of them.
And that's just the Lower East Side. Meanwhile, it is an underground volcano lair. The Punisher utters his first line of dialogue at 26 minutes even, assholes. You wanted to know why this is the most comic perfect depiction of the Punisher? Choke on your fucking answer. Meanwhile, Newman evidently heard his hideout was in a subway and stopped in for a sandwich.
You ever heard of jihadiblogger.com? I'm posing as a one-armed Wahhabi warrior who took a crap in a cave next to bin Laden. I think I can score you a couple of rocket launchers.
What do you want?
Frank! Did you not hear the part about the rocket launchers? If I may momentarily shelve the fat and fucking dick jokes, as much as I may worship Ray Stevenson in the role of the Punisher, not nearly enough attention is paid to Wayne Knight, who absolutely embodies microchip in a way the beanie-bedecked hipster from the Netflix Punisher show massively fucking failed to replicate. Every scene he waddles the fuck into is steeped in sincere concern for his sociopathic companion, such that perhaps more than any other incarnation of the character, he emphasizes the codependent crime-fighting relationship between the two. Theirs is more than a mere monetary relationship where he nabs a sack of drug lord loot in exchange for some 12-gauge goodies. And speaking the fuck of which...
Brought you some treats. It's gun show season in Virginia. No background checks, no problems.
I fucked up, Micro.
Look, I know this thing with the Fed is eating you up inside, but that doesn't mean you pack up your tent. We all make mistakes, Frank.
Yours was not killing the Fed in the first fucking scene. But the baddies are not idle. For while Frank kicks the fuck back in the Archie Bunker recliner, the mafiosos are discussing their recent infiltration by the Feds with a side of supervillain origin story.
Your facial muscles, tendons, bone structure, everything. It was destroyed. I mean, there wasn't a single square inch of skin left intact.
Janice Dickinson's supervillain origin story.
Just take it off already.
Okay, let's do this. Polymers. And a couple of strategically placed alloy plates. And just a little bit of horsehide.
A little bit of what?
She's single, fellas, but while the mooks mumble back and forth in the hallway...
What's the matter with you? Can't fucking control yourself. You know how sensitive he is about his looks.
Sorry, Pops. It's just that if you ever seen anything so...
Just shut the fuck up.
But now that Punisher turned Pretty Boy's T-zone into a disaster zone, he yucks it up with his stoolies in the car and struggles to formulate an appropriate new title for himself. Fuck, if only there were some manner of facial scar-related mobster nickname of some sort.
We're gonna get rid of Frank Castle.
He took out like 30 of us. I mean, how are we gonna kill him before he'll kill us?
Brother will take care of that.
Looney Bin Jim?
His name is James.
It's a good idea, really. It is.
Don't mind him. Sorry about that, Billy. Billy is dead. From now on, you call me Jigsaw.
Would you like that line reading honey glazed or hickory smoked? But before he can get jiggy with it, he has to spring his batshit brother from the loony bin. And if I've learned one thing from decades of reading grim, dark 90s comics, it's that in spite of rapid advancements in the field of mental health, there remain an alarming number of Victorian-era asylums with decor consisting exclusively of concrete fucking gargoyles and cracked security procedures not seen since the fucking Game Awards.
To nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton.
And so they spring him and every other patient in the complex by executing their masterful, complicated plan of walking in the front fucking door and taking him. The January 6th method, if you will.
And cut these off. Now. I'll take care of this guy.
Oh, no, brother. Fatso's mine. Did you know kidneys and applesauce are a delicacy in Sweden?
Sweden and Chipotle. And speaking of Chipotle, who likes raw meat?
Stuff might come in handy.
What for?
Well, in case he starts, not feeling so good.
But he's doing just great.
It's fucking love!
Coming down with a case of the conscience, Frank stops by the home of the widow he recently created to drop off a fuck pile of cash. And as we all know, if there's anything a trophy wife hates, it's a great big bag of fucking money.
Step the fuck away from my little girl. Go inside, Grace. What's this?
Something to help out.
No. No, you don't get to do that.
It's for your daughter.
Who punishes you?
A Marvel editorial, I believe.
He taught you how to shoot. Took you out to the range. Showed you what to do. This is where you do it. Squeeze. Don't pull.
I can't find my red pen.
Come on, take the pen.
I can't take it.
Do me a personal. No, I'm not take the pen. I cannot take it. Take the pen. Are you sure?
But what is a supervillain without his supervillain murder fortress? And so Jigsaw and the Flunky Bunch commandeer a conveniently vacant skyscraper for an impromptu meeting. But when McNulty catches his reflection in a mirror, it's time for some disturbingly intimate brotherly love.
Just when I think I'm okay, I see my reflection somewhere. I look horrible.
Oh, brother, nothing could be more horrible than your accent. But if New Yorkers are good at anything, it's wrecking skyscrapers. And so he and his painfully obvious stunt double shatter every reflective surface in the building with their fucking face. But then the Ruskies show up and the bad accents get plenty of company.
We don't talk vampire.
It's Russian. Svoloch.
My man is concerned.
Why? Because you're hosting yet another mobster meeting under a low-hanging chandelier?
If Punisher can do this to your face, what might he do to our deal?
That depends. Is that before or after the body bag zips shut? And speaking of body bags, who wants wine? Today's recommendation is a dry Pinot Jugular, a fruity bouquet with the slightest hints of homicide.
Что-то нахуй, блядь.
Guess that concludes negotiations.
Meanwhile, an arms deal goes down just outside Micro's Micropad while the filmmakers flash the first of about 50 Dirty Harry references.
Well, this is the 44 Magnum Automag. It holds a 300-grain cartridge, and if properly used, it can remove the fingerprints.
Sadly, if properly used, it'll only malfunction every 4th fucking shot.
How am I gonna shoot fast if you jam? Come on! Dirty Harry, you may want to get a different gun. This isn't... It's not the best.
The Punisher tails the shitbag to Newman's apartment and decides to proffer some New York hospitality.
Let him go, Frank.
You know this piece of shit?
My dude, if bad tattoos made you an arms dealer, Hot Topic would be goddamn gun broker. From there, we're introduced to the 46th President of the United States.
How's she doing?
As long as she's got her cooking shows, she's good. It's the only thing she notices.
It's fine. It'll be shipshape in time for the debates. But before he can shove any adrenochrome casserole down her gullet, Frank Castle goes from Punisher to quitter.
I just came around to tell you that I'm going out of town for a while.
I never thought of the Punisher, taking a long weekend.
I'm not planning on coming back.
Are you aware that Billy Razör survived?
Let the cops take care of him.
This is where the Punisher comes in. This is why I believe in you, why I've supported you all these years. Do you want me to tell you when something happens to Mrs. Donatelli and her daughter? Because that's what's going to happen.
For about 3 entire seconds.
Pull a couple of Berettas.
For what?
3, 2, 1.
Rosati's the last one.
Give or take 100. But there's just one small catch. The Punisher murdered absolutely anyone who knows where Jigsaw is. Fortunately for Frank, there's a new gang in town, as Spetty Gonzalez here explains in an accent that's a hate crime in 14 fucking states.
Leader was black. Dreadlocks. Did some kind of acrobatic stuff over the roofs.
That's McGinty and his urban free flow gang. He's on a constant meth high.
Hunter Biden? You heard it correct, folks. The Punisher is about to pound parkour crackheads. And don't worry, no matter how much you hate pointless parkour elements being wedged into every solitary game title in 20 years, Frank Castle hates it 50 times more intensely. Oh, but don't worry, he'll replace it with plenty of RPG elements.
Rocket launcher.
Well, the sky rains bad weed and Bob Marley albums. The Punisher does the one thing he's never been allowed to do on Netflix. Fucking punish! The Punisher does the one thing he's never been allowed to do on Netflix. Fucking...
Headshot.
Oh, fuck.
Double kill. We were partners in narcotics. Unfortunately, most of the blow we confiscated ended up in my nose. Internal Affairs tried to get Nicky to rat me out. He wouldn't. So they send him undercover. He's dead because of me. Ultra kill.
Holy shit!
Monster kill.
Unfortunately for Frank, he happened to drop down the same alley the only two carbon-based life forms on the Punisher task force happened to be traveling down, and after a brief battle, which he wins, might I add, he somehow still ends up arrested, just in time for Jiggy Smalls to make the moves on the dead Fed's fuck buddy. Turns out when you siphon shitloads of marked cash from a gaggle of ginzos, you paint a target on your back the size of Movie Bob's bald spot.
Hello, Mrs. Donatelli. Or will you be calling yourself Miss from now on?
Damn! What do you want from us?
I'm looking for my money.
We don't have it, I swear to God.
Where's my fucking money?
Where's my money? You gonna give me my money?
Fortunately for the Popo's paramour, Punisher tips off Agent Asshat and they head to the Boppity-Boopity residence for a wellness check all the same. But when the Fed who fucking arrested him actually arrives on scene, he finds decidedly little wellness and a Smith & Wesson welcome.
How you doing?
Fortunately for Frank, the officer who was left to watch over him is not only the head of the Punisher task force, he's also the president of his fan club.
Let me out.
You know, Frank, throwing you a tip now and again is one thing. Password to the crime database, etc., but letting you go?
So,
fine.
Flock of Seagulls goes to check out a suspiciously Punisher-like noise, but elects to powder his nose from the inside instead. And you know what I love about Ray Stevenson Punisher? The believability.
And the believability of the sightings rated very high.
His combat prowess characterized by tactical comprehension of firearms and masterful application of CQC rather than cartoonish acts of superhuman strength. Take, for example, punching clean through a human fucking face. Seizing the opportunity, Officer Nose Candy turns the tables on the mafioso, yet as he attempts to effect an arrest, the Punisher is ready for the interview. Unfortunately for the mob blob, he'll be conducting said interview with Kurt Cobain's microphone.
Shotgun!
While Punisher slips out the back with the wife and kid, the cocaine capos console themselves by capturing Jigsaw and his batshit bro.
You mind explaining to me how a handcuffed criminal escapes custody from the back of your locked car?
I was one of Epstein's prison guards? Unfortunately for them, they have him in custody for all of 18 seconds before the feds pull fucking rank. How hard are the FBI gonna go after Jigsaw, you inquire? Put it this way. Every major mob lord of the past 50 fucking years now has a YouTube channel. What do you think?
You tell me what you know. If it's any good, I recommend life without parole.
You're gonna give me and my brother here the immunity and the money. Or you're gonna have to explain to Wolf fucking Blitzer why you had the lead on the thing that killed half the fucking city, and you didn't do a goddamn thing about it.
Wow.
Happy?
You're the fucking dead man.
Agent Miller.
That's agreed. I hope to God he finds you and you get what you deserve.
The FBI covering for criminals using Russians as fall guys? Now I've seen absolutely everything. The Punisher goes Roman for Romans, leaving the lady of the house in the tender care of Carlos. But if the border crisis has taught us anything at all, it's that some nationalities are naturally better at evading security than providing it.
And how are you today, my friend?
Run! Get out of here!
I asked you a question.
Run!
No, come on! That's just cheesy and crass. Do it again.
Guess I'll have to ask it again.
Meanwhile, Punisher goes to check in on Micro's Meemaw, and I don't know what today's cooking show recipe was, but I'm certain it was mind-blowing.
You won't be attending that hat convention in July.
Wife and kid kidnapped. Microchip, see above. An army of ethnic stereotypes armed to the gills and lying in wait for the Punisher in a piss-stinking smackhouse hotel. Bitch, you better believe it. But, as anyone who's ever used Tinder knows, traps can go both ways.
So, what's the plan?
I'm going in to get them.
You call that a plan?
It's all I need.
Multiple disparate ethnic groups crammed ass to elbow in an urban shitbox and armed to the gold-plated teeth. Now, if I remember my college diversity lectures, this will turn out just fine. And my friends, for all the hype, for all the hacky video essays about how Dredd and the Raid invented the cramped kick-ass corridor climax, 3 years before the Raid and 4 years before goddamn Dredd came the cinematic slaughter you are about to witness. My friends, cling dearly to your dicks.
Oh yeah!
An army of assholes on one side, a violent vigilante on the other. This brings us to Rule of Rageaholic Cinema number 35. Always endeavor to enter with a bang.
Grenade!
With Castle kicking ass and taking hyphenated names below, the mobsters on the next floor take a more scientific approach. Holding up in one room, revolvers drawn, preparing to pounce from ambush. Unfortunately for them, the Punisher's periodic table needs only one element. Surprise!
Super grenade!
But with all that shitbag slaying and operating, it's soon time for Punisher to stop popping heads and hit the head. Unfortunately for our eternally scowling hero, in the adjoining stall is Looney Bin Jim and his retard strength. It starts out as a fairly even UFC fight until the movie remembers Ray Stevenson is 6'3" and LBJ is 4 foot fuck all, at which point it becomes a CM Punk UFC fight. Frank follows him to a Roman bath so Jigsaw can play Pick the Murder Victim while the director plays Hide the Homoerotic Subtext.
Let's play a game. What do you say? You shoot one of these two, I'll let the other one go free.
Mama or Micro? Micro or Mama? Who to kill, who to kill, who to... Ah, hell, why pretend? We all know Fatty's fucked.
You won't feel a thing, Micro.
3.
You're nothing more painless than a 45 to the forebrain. With his gadget guy got and Jigsaw wasting 2 shots on his tactical Kevlar, Frank Castle proceeds to go full fucking Punisher. There is more actual punishment in this single scene than in 2 separate seasons and half of a Daredevil fucking Netflix show. He beats this bastard like an Asian on a United Airlines flight, pounding this prick from pillar to post, but this simply would not be Rageaholic Cinema without a weapons-grade one-liner, and if anyone knows weapons, it's the fucking Punisher.
Let me put you out of my misery. This is just the beginning.
And scene. Punisher Warzone is a murderous masterpiece, an impossibly underrated early entry in the Marvel Studios pantheon, and a film we've intended to cover on Rageaholic Cinema since this channel's inception, and hopefully now you know exactly why. Godspeed into the hereafter, Mr. Stevenson. The normies may see you as Volstagg or Titus Polo, but true aficionados know the Punisher's filmic oeuvre wouldn't be 1/10 as tasty without Warzone. Rest in peace while your enemies rest in pieces, big man. I'm Razor Fist. God fucking speed.
Ray Stevenson, I can't talk enough about the guy. The guy's fantastic. We started shooting, and I've been around firearms my entire life. And it took me a while to learn and to get good at it. Ray picks the damn weapon up and immediately starts putting rounds into the paper targets we had set up. And all of his shots were where they needed to be. And I'm like, well, we can skip all the basics. We can just move right to the playtime.